Graduate of Anchi Polytechnic, a sculptor, and a freeborn of Egun Street, where they were Egun Bronze Casters Guild. I am the secretary. So this is Ogbemudia Art Studio. So you are welcome. As an Englishman would say, necessity is the mother of invention. I would say the bronze work of Benin is old as the Benin man, because in time immemorial we discovered that during the Ogiso era there were bronze works, because we believe in oral tradition, because those days we don't have a means of recording events. So we tell stories from our grandparents to our parents to our children and to children. So that's what we call oral tradition. So that's the purpose of keeping records. But during Ogiso era, she had a daughter when they call Erikure Novi Ogiso. So as at that time, we got to know that there was music. As at that time, when Evikure was dancing to the rhythm of that music, she cladded with bronze bangles, bronze anklets, and as she dances to the rhythm, those anklets and bangles, the jingles, which shows that those jingles and anklets were made by a bronze caster that she cladded with. So from over times, the music, the song has been on. So those are the bronze anklets and bangles as she raises her hand. So the jingles. So those are the areas where I agreed that bronze works of Benin is as old as a Benin man. Even those chiefs, they use this as ornamentation to adorn themselves when they are regularly dressed. So, but what I'm saying now, during this period of this Ogiso, was dated back to 17th century, 17 AD. So you can see that it has been on from that time, even up till 1280 AD, when we got the Royal Charter. That's a kind of monopoly from the Oba, which brought about putting all of them together to form a kind of cluster industry for the bronze industry. So we later settled here, and the job started moving on well, being that it's now a clustered bronze industry. You understand? So now the purpose of coming together for an association is to further enhance the product, to make sure it's up to standard. So when there is a competition in any product, then you see that the value or the aesthetic values will come up, instead of creating something that looks like those small children will call it Ojuju Calabar. But if artwork is not beautiful, it becomes an idol. But if an artwork is beautiful, so if you can see the aesthetic value of the artwork, then it becomes a beautiful art. You understand? So it has been on, and we have chiefs who have benefited from this handiwork of our craft. We have about 11 chiefs now that were crowned for the purpose of enhancing and improving on the standard of bronze casting in Benin City, which Chief Ine is the head of the Eguns. You see, like in Benin those days, Benin was, Benin as a country was industrialized. What I mean by industrialization is that every aspect of life or utilities or economy of a Benin people as a country, as a nation, were under guild or under a guild being headed by chief and supervised by the Oba. So the Oba creates various guilds, as you have in an industrialized nation. You have a textile industry, you have a petrochemical, you have iron smithing and all that. So in Benin, we have all these guilds, and they are settled at a place that they were given by the Oba. Like Igun settled at Igun Street. So those Igun Eromo, it was named a street for bronze casting. That's what it means, Igun Eromo, yes. There are other guilds like the guilds of metal fabricators. They are there. Then we have the guilds of the drummers, Ikpema. We have the guilds of soothsayers. We have the guilds of diviners. We have the guilds of leather works. So we have all guilds that caters for the needs of the people. So we don't look outwards for any assistance. Unlike now, if you don't import fertilizer from overseas, Nigeria will not get a part of it. So as at that time, we were self-satisfied, self-sustaining as the Benin nation, until the white men came during 1897 and destroyed the town, raised the town to a bare ground. Chief K.O. Ine is the overall chief, the chief custodian of bronze casting. We have Chief Hanere. We have Chief Akenua. We have Chief Ihama, Chief Obadolaye, Chief Osasimioba. As an artist, the first thing that comes to your mind is your concept. What do you want to produce, or what do you have in your brain, or you want to put down? A pressman will say black and white, but who will say in the round, or a two-dimensional object or three-dimensional object. Now, after conceiving what you are going to do, then your clay, it could be in mud clay, it could be clay, the real clay. Then you prepare the mud clay. I have clay pots there. I have the red earth here, which is the mud. So you prepare them to a consistency that will make you to be malleable, in short, so that you can handle it, it will not collapse. So then you start modeling. So you model to a standard, like the first one you are seeing there. First one you are seeing there is modeled into red earth. That's mud. You understand? So then you will allow it to dry. Then that's the first stage. Then the second stage is to wrap it up with wax. You can see the one that is wrapped up with wax. Now after wrapping them up, then you start putting in the detail. From the wrapping up, you can see that there are some details. You can see the nose, the eye socket, the lips. So then you start working on them with wax. You have beeswax. Or if beeswax, if you sun it or give it a necessary heat, it becomes very soft, like plastic. So you can maneuver. So then you work with that. Make sure that all the details are out. When you are satisfied with the details and you have finished everything about waxing, then if you are satisfied, because it is what you give to the wax that will achieve that bronze aspect of it. You understand? So after that, then you cover it up with mud again. So that mud you are covering it up with is taking the negative mood. It's taking the negative mood. So by the time you are through with that covering of the mud and the mud gets dried, you put in your runners at the bottom, so that it is through the runners and funnel you can pour the molten brass. So it will lead the molten brass to the entire work. Because if you are going to cast, first of all, you control through fire place, which is known as the kiln or the foundry. Then when you fire, the wax will melt down. All the wax, all the designs, they will run out. That's why it's called a Lux wax method or Cire Pedru. So when the wax runs out, it leaves the space that wax occupied. So it becomes hollow somehow, a vacuum. Then when it is heated to almost 700 degrees centigrade or 800, then the brass that you are going to pour in, that is melted inside the crucible, now it will melt up to about 900 to 1000 degrees centigrade. So by the time you remove them almost simultaneously from the fire, as you are removing the artwork by pegging it on the ground, because it must have to stay erect, straight. So by the time you are removing the funnel, the crucible with the tongue from the fire, then you pour into the artwork through the funnel, and it goes through the runners to the main job. So if that is done, you are allowed to cool down for about maybe 30 or 40 minutes or 1 hour before you can break out the logs. That's the covering. You add the coverings or the investments, then you break it out. By the time you break it out, then the molten bronze you pour inside must have been solidified then. So that's why you have something like this. But it might be very rough, but later you clean up, chip up some areas, unwanted parts, and you fire. Then you do some maintenance. We are facing probably because we have the monopoly. That's why we don't have assistant as such. And like these days, even children, they don't want to learn a trade. You understand? Most of them want to go to higher institution. Most of them don't want a tedious job, but they need money. So unlike this bronze casting, it's a very skillful trade. So for that, we need an assistant, like apprentice, so that they can equally learn the trade, so that they will give us helping hand. I'm afraid because maybe 20, 30 years time, maybe if we have done with our life, so maybe who to take after us? So because the children nowadays, they don't want to learn, especially tedious work like this. So that is one of the challenges, because we don't want this artwork to go into extinction, because it has been bequeathed to us by our forebearers. So we need to make sure that it's always alive. Then 2, materials. Our method of sourcing for materials are not, the materials are not always around. So we struggle to get materials. And when we have, it's quite expensive because materials they are foreign. They are foreign to us. So it's a combination of two metals, copper and tin. So when you alloy them, you have bronze. It's not always available here. You understand? So what we do now is, with the help of these scrap pickers, so that's how we get our bronze. So they pick junks and later they separate iron from bronze. You understand? So that's how we get them. We buy from them. So there's no ready-made market. Say maybe fresh bronze. You understand? So those are some of the challenges, and they are very, very expensive. Then in casting per se, we don't have, electricity is not stable here. You understand? In this part of the world. So going into modern foundry is highly expensive because the current it consumes is so high. So we use element in cane and foundry. So what we do, we still try to practice the old method of using bellow to propel our furnace so that it can melt the iron, the bronze for us. So the cost of probably buying a big plant that can assist you in giving you energy, that source of electricity supply now is on the high side. So there's no assistance from anywhere apart from our sales. So we cannot really face such challenges, by way of solving it, because it's highly expensive. Then, talking of health-wise, there are other indications that this thing is dangerous to health. That doesn't have that, because we don't sell every day, so the rate of turnover is very low. So it's not a goods that that everybody needs. You understand? So except you have the aesthetic values that you want to think of arts. Then, as I was saying before, that the health hazard of it, we inhale a lot of fumes that comes out from the melting iron. You understand? So it may be too much of iron particles will be in your blood, and that one will cause another different thing. You understand? Then we are exposed to burns too. You understand? The heat. Imagine the heat that melts a bronze at the rate of 900 degrees to 1000 degrees centigrade. When boiling water point is about 100, you know the difference. So we face that kind of heat, and it can, have a skin burn. It can create, a kind of sterility in men, by way of, you know what I mean now, by way of turning maybe your sperm into water and all those stuff. You understand? So a lot of more of those hazards that we are facing. So we'll need probably somebody maybe to take it up and maybe help us to, modern foundry, modern workshop, so that we have a protective devices like jackets and all those stuff, goggles and all the rest. You understand? So that, because like the English people, I don't think they go directly to the fire or to the foundry like that. Now when there are modern equipment, you can, all these pneumatic machines that you can press button and it rolls down and cast the thing for you and come back, and things like that. So those are some of the challenges, and we still face market challenges as well, patronage. Do you understand? Like in some parts, or let me say some people, maybe churches, they look at our artwork or our artifacts as fetish. Do you understand? I challenged a pastor one time. Do you understand? How can something you make with your brain and your hand, somebody is coming to tell you that it's fetish, you can't put it in the house, can't do this one. But probably the one the father bequeathed to him, he has sold them because he doesn't want to face any, it's not true. You understand? All over the world. Let me tell you, like 1897 massacre, the Benin massacre. Those the Britons, they know what they have seen in the palace. Not maybe it was the treaty or whatever. When they saw those artworks, they marvel. They never believed that black people or black monkeys like that did those works. They were marvel and they were interested in those works. But when after the war, they carted away with all those things. So the foreigners, they have more value for our works than our home-based people. So if everybody loves art, then the art market will be moving from fine. Then patronage will be coming in. I thank God that some of us are still being able to put our families together and we are training our children. So it's not easy being a bronze caster. You see, right from time, production of bronze works in Benin has a reason, and it's very fun. Has a reason because most of the artworks were used as gift items, as a souvenir, immortalization, monumental. Because most times, when in those days, because there were no means of recording as at that time, so an Igu man is used as a modern journalist or a modern camera. You understand? So when an event is happening in the palace, where an Igu man is invited to take position. And by men looking at what is happening in the event, he has recorded the event in his memory. So they go back to the workshop and produce a replica and send back to the Oba. In those days, it was only the Oba that stored bronze or bronzes. You walk and keep and send it back to the palace. Do you understand? Now, like what I'm holding now is a queen, a Benin queen. It's a Benin queen, and it depicts the Benin queen regalia, the way they dress when they are in occasion or when they are in a palace. So, and it has been transformed to even marriages across the country, especially if a Benin woman or a Benin man is involved in the marriage or the couples. So they dress like this as a mark of a Benin tradition. Then this is the full regalia of an Oba, the way Oba dressed. So it's always in the memory of a Benin man how Oba dressed. If you take this work outside Benin or outside Nigeria, they will know that yes, this is a Benin king. No other king all over the world dressed like this. So that's the uniqueness of these bronze works. There are other ones like Queen Idia. They have their own hairstyle as well. Like the one you are seeing there, that unfinished work. Those are Queen Idia. Queen Idia, yes. They have their hair gear up like this with a curve. Queen Idia. They call it Idianokpoko, the mother of Esige, who went to war to save the territory for the son. Then Queen Ide is the woman, the wife of the Oba, who used herself as a sacrifice because the Benin people rebelled against the husband. So later, when she used herself as a sacrifice, later normality started coming back to Benin or to the palace. Like in my gallery, it's a modern bronze gallery. Why is it modern? That because I have a mix of, contemporary artworks and traditional artworks. Like what you are seeing here, there is a picture. It's a modern work, and this is a graduate. And this from the west. Final work for them is that there is no trade that is not good. There is no trade that is not good. Even if you are opportune to go to the university, it's good you learn a trade. You understand? Your education will help you in that your trade. You understand? So even if you don't go to school, learn a trade. Like here, like this bronze casting is open to sons of Igun because it's highly restricted to outsiders. Because all the guilds, they have their mark. You don't interfere into others. So like this one is open to all our children, male children. Like Daisy Hanere Foundation or Daisy Danjuma Foundation. They have started like this. Last year they started training some youths from this street, and this is their training centers. No, women are not allowed because of one, the tediousness. Two, because most times women are impure. So it's a traditional work and it's a royal work. So women are not allowed, but they can only be allowed to sell. Maybe if I have a gallery, my wife can stay in the gallery and sell, but not to engage in, bronze casting because it's tedious.